Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately, then having to go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true. To stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio. From NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Finish Line. It is the January 26, 2022 episode, and by the way, it is our first Finish Line of the season that is actually on the video program. Obviously, the first show we could only do the radio only because we were still working on some
technical things with our producer at LSRTV Productions and Rocket Media with Jeff Stabnow and Charles Wooten. But we're ready to go. I'm Wesley Outland. You're in the hot seat. We got a great show for you today. And by the way, it's going to be a little bit quicker than what we thought it was going to be, because we normally go into the 2-hour format. That's just not the case today, because I've got a pretty crazy schedule with high school basketball and college basketball coming up on the Community Radio Network beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. But we've got 4 awesome guests, from dirt track racing to late models to track promotion. It's going to be a great show. We're ready to get things started. Here's your guest lineup for today, January 26th on Finish Line. First guest coming up in just a couple of moments is longtime announcer and partner with Track Enterprises. They get ready for the 2022 Speed Fest held in January in Georgia at Crisp Motorsports Park at Watermelon Capital Speedway in Cordell, Georgia. Adam Mackey from Track Enterprises will be joining us to preview and highlight that event coming up this weekend. And by the way, if you can't be there live, it will be on RacingAmerica.com. In addition to that, the Mac Daddy one World of Outlaw Late Model Series race was ran Friday night, ran on a Saturday afternoon. Everything else in the Sunshine State Nationals got postponed because of weather. But the Mac Daddy Del McDowell from Chickamauga, Georgia, picked up the win. And we're going to talk about his battle, fighting cancer, overcoming it, getting back in the race car, and putting the car in victory lane. He's coming up as our second guest. Just announced yesterday, my good friend from Winston-Salem in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series will be driving at Daytona for Young Motorsports, Danny Bone. And of course, in addition to that, final guest, winner of the Chili Willy 150, Preston Peltier. Let's get it started quickly to the line. Our first guest is here. He's ready to go, and we're not going to waste any time. Let's get Adam Mackey on the program. He is, of course, with Track Enterprises. They get ready for the 2022 edition of Speed Fest. Of course, with Track Enterprises is Adam Mackey. Adam, me and him have known each other for almost a decade or more. Adam, it's always good talking to you, always good working with you when we can. And you got a big event coming up this weekend at Cordell, Georgia. Talk about it. Welcome to Finish Line for the first time. Adam, are you with me,
Yeah,
bud?
We've got a big one coming up this weekend, Wesley. You talk about all of the great races that we have during the course. Yeah, I'm here. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Go ahead.
Got me, Wesley? Okay. All right. Seems to be having a little bit of signal issues there. We're doing what we can here. The race this weekend expected to be huge. We've got drivers from all over the country, 5 divisions. Speedfest a little bit different this year than what we've had in the past, because we brought in the modifieds and we brought in the street stocks as well, which is really big, and excited about that.
You know, the street stocks and the modifieds have really begun to grow a lot big. And I got to give props to you and everybody that's involved at Track Enterprises. And, of course, our friend Ben Sumner and the people there in Georgia's facility there that, this race is progressing. It used to just be a super late model, pro late model program. What was the decision, Adam, in bringing in the modifieds of mayhem, our buddy Stan Narrison at Montgomery Motor Speedway, and then, of course, also the street stocks? And what a well of a show they put on a couple of weeks ago. That was on Racing America, soon to be on MAV TV, Short Track America, with the street stocks at Dillon.
Yeah, it's all about. I'm going to try to drive to a better signal area. I'm not able to really pick up what you're saying. I'll try to get back on here in just a minute, Wesley. Sorry, I was out traveling, and that could be a big part of why I'm not getting a good signal here.
All right, well, listen, we'll let you go.
Okay? Hey,
we
do.
You
got me now, Wesley. It's got unable to connect and all kinds of messages popping up on my phone. So I'll do the best I can. But yeah, we mentioned the street stocks and the modifieds, and And those divisions were added this year to make Speedfest really what it should be about. Drivers of a number of different divisions. I think the modifieds are going to put on a heck of a show. And the CRA Street Stocks always put on a great show as well. So between those two classes, and then with good fields of super late models and pro late models with some big names involved, add in the legends for their local flair. And I think we've got 5 really good classes with, I would guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 race cars for the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. And it all kicks off tomorrow, of course, on Friday. I meant to say Friday. Haulers do start coming in. Heck, you could start bringing in your haulers today if you wanted to after talking with Ben last night about it. But everything gets kicked off for pretty much like preliminaries and practice on Friday and then on the races on Saturday. And Adam, you have been a long time, not only announcer, but promoter. You've won awards as Promoter of the Year in many states. Macon Speedway comes to mind, some other places you've done on dirt and pavement. Talk about Track Enterprises and just what it has become with Bob Sargent and all the work that's gone behind it. And I do want to talk about your involvement now with CRA, but I want to just now focus on why Track Enterprises picked up promoting, helping to make this event to be bigger than better this weekend at Cordell, Georgia.
Yeah, there was a good chance that the Speedfest event at Cordele this weekend wasn't going to take place. A couple of months ago, we were actually at the All-American weekend, I believe, and RJ Scott came to prizes with the option of maybe us being the promoter of the event. And we took the opportunity. We know that Speedfest has been successful for many years through Lakeland, Florida, at USA International, to Lanier in Georgia, and then at Watermelon Capital Speedway at Chris Motorsports Park for a number of years. So we thought this is an opportunity to add another big event to our schedule. You know, we have the All-American 400, which is kind of our biggest event of the year, but we've also got a lot of big ARCA races, Silver Crown races. And then we have the dirt tracks that we run in Illinois that put on a lot of big shows. So we figured we would add this to our arsenal. And then in January, we didn't have any big events or any events as far as racing goes, and it gives us some time to promote. And things have come together pretty well. We'd like to have a few more degrees on temperature for this coming Saturday, but we're guns a-blazing. I'm on my way to Cordele, Georgia right now, and I'm going to get started with open practice tomorrow, optional practice Friday, and races on Saturday.
And a big announcement that was made on Monday afternoon, which was a very big shock in the pavement racing world. But I had a feeling it was coming. You look at CRA, you look at the Champion Racing Association. That's actually, Adam, how me and you first met each other when I was announcing for ASA. You were working for CRA, and Glenn Luckett and RJ Scott have done a phenomenal 25 years, a silver anniversary of operating the Champion Racing Association with all they've done with super late models, pro late models, street stocks, the junior late models, the sportsman division. And now Track Enterprises coming in and going to operate and help out with keeping the CRA brand going. And you're going to be a part of that along the way, Adam. Your thoughts of that, not only as an announcer, but also at Track Enterprises and seeing where it's come in 25 years.
Yeah, the CRA thing has kind of been a work in progress, I think, for a couple of years. RJ Scott, Glenn Luckett, Greg Wood, the gang with us, and actually my connection to working for Track Enterprises, and they hooked me up with Bob Sargent to go there and do everything that I do in Illinois. So they kind of came to the table a year or two ago. You know, Track Enterprises should take over CRA. You guys have great connections with everybody in the racing. This would be a great opportunity for you guys to expand, and it finally all came together in the last couple of months. We obviously have a lot of things on our plate already with the 2 dirt tracks that we run and a lot of special events. Between everything we have, we had 70 events scheduled for the summer of this year. So we add CRA to it and we add another, 30, 40 events between the 4 or 5 series that they have. So it's a lot, but Glenn Luckett's staying, Greg Wood staying, RJ's going to stay around and help. I'm sure we'll probably be adding on some more staff as well to continue to build on what CRA has done over 25 years with the Super Series and their other classes as well. So I think it could build the super late model class. Obviously that series, the super late models in general, the counts are down a little bit from what they were 5 to 10 years ago. So
Sure.
maybe some big events and some sort of a big series schedule across the nation would be the way to go about it.
Yeah, the signal keeps coming and going, but I'm kind of pretty much catching to what you're talking about. And again, it's going to be a big event, the 2022 Speed Fest, presented by Track Enterprises, of course, featuring the modifieds of mayhem, legend cars, street stocks, and of course the big shows with the JEGS CRA All-Stars, Pro Late models, as well as the ARCA CRA Super Series, all in action. And of course, if you can't be there live, you need to be there live. Bring a jacket. Bring one of the little heater fans if you can to try to keep yourself cool. But if not, Racing America will have you covered. Adam, as an announcer, what made the decision for you to step away from being a long-time respected voice of motorsports as you've been and taking on the promoter role? And how different is it for you in taking that responsibility now for what's been close to 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah, so 7 years ago when I got the opportunity to move to Illinois to work for Track Enterprises, it was more of a decision as a bigger job and a bigger step, a higher level than what, pay quite as well as what promoting and being an event director and operations and race director and things combined can do. So it was a higher position. It's a position that I enjoy doing. Obviously, announcing is probably more fun, but I still get a chance to do that quite a bit with the Snowball Derby, the All-American for Smyrna, and I'm going to get to announce promoter type duties in the morning and then go join Alan in the booth for the afternoon for the racing and the qualifying and that type of thing. So I get to do the best of both worlds this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time for sure, definitely. A few more minutes with Adam Mackey. We'll let him go. It looks like he's about ready to drive off anyway. He's getting ready to head on down to the Peach State of Georgia, getting ready for the big weekend again. Speed Fest and Adam Mackey joining us as Ben Sumner was actually scheduled to join us here, but Adam Mackey, honestly, he's a better talker. He's a lot more better looking guy than Ben, and we had decided to have him here on the program for Finish Line. Dale McDowell is coming up. We'll talk to the Mac Daddy here in a moment. Of course, he picked up the win at Volusia with the World of Outlaw Late Model Series in the one-day race that was only one night of 3 before plagued by weather in the Dirt Car Nationals. One thing for certain, Adam, do you think we're going to start seeing a resurgence of more pavement tracks running races in the daytime, Adam? And honestly, it got started by Speedfest, from what it started at USA International down in Lakeland, Florida, to what it's now become now in Georgia. It's moved from Lanier. It's come down to Cordell for the last couple of years. Do you see that race continuing, more winter races happening because of what Speedfest has provided for even NASCAR drivers to even come and run this event?
Yeah, so Speedfest, being in January when no other racing really is going on, that's what's made this event, so strong over the years. And I would expect it to continue. But, man, it's tough this time of year, with weather and everything that you deal with. I mean, we've got a beautiful sunny forecast for the weekend. It's going to be a little bit chilly on Saturday. People are going to have to bundle up to come out to the racetrack. That's the negative thing about it. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get in the month of January, even if you're in southern Georgia like Cordova is. So it's going to be a little bit chilly. But, we still get to race, and we get to still see guys like Chandler Smith, the Snowball Derby winner, and a guy like Josh Berry coming out to race a super late model for a rare super late model start. And Bubba Pollard and Stephen Nasse and the battles that they've had at Speedfest in the past. I think it's going to be a great show. We've got a lot of big names in super late model racing, a lot of the same names you've seen at the Snowball Derby going to be racing at Speedfest and the classes. So I think that's what makes this event special, and that's probably why it's been held for so long.
Definitely going to be a fun time, Speed Fest. And again, if you can't be there live, it will be on Racing America, as Adam Mackey just mentioned. Colleague and longtime friend Alan Dietzen himself will be on the call for that event. Of course, you can check it out. And for all the details and information, go to, of course, Watermelon Capital Speedway or Crisp Motorsports Park. Let me clarify that. Watermelon Capital Speedway, and the reason why they call it the Watermelon Capital Speedway, Adam, is because Cordell, Georgia is the watermelon capital of the world. You're going to try to get some watermelon and bring it back to Macon, Illinois when you leave this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know if it's watermelon growing season here in Georgia right now. So I think that could be one of our down. I think I could probably still find some at the store, though.
Yes, for sure. So Crisp Motorsports Park for the information. Oh, and by the way, Ben Sumner is sending me information right now. And another quick reminder, join them not only this weekend for Speed Fest, but also the Georgia Spring Nationals. Hopefully, Adam Mackey, it'll be a lot warmer than it is this weekend. And that is on March the 25th and 26th, featuring the Southern Super Series. And Adam, I'll throw that last question at you before you finally give all the details and information on Speedfest. Man, the Georgia Spring Nationals, what a great event. What a great opportunity for purse money up for grabs with the Southern Super Series in 2022 now, thanks to Tim Bryan and company.
Yeah, absolutely. Paying $10,000 to win, a big amount for all of their regular shows this year. This weekend, paying $12,000 to win for the combination event between CRA and Southern Super Series. It's always good to work with both of those tours. It's fantastic. Glad to see that, between the two tours. Wesley, it's crazy. I haven't had a phone call in 2 hours. And since I've been on with you, I've had 3 phone calls during this interview. So they picked the wrong times to call me. But anyway, good stuff, with going on at Crisp Motorsports Park, with that race in March. And of course, this weekend, ones you don't want to miss. Absolutely.
And the Mellon family invites you, Ben Sumner and everybody there, to check them out. Of course, all details again, Crisp Motorsports Park, Track Enterprises, and more. Adam Mackey, thanks for your time, man. Safe travels down to Georgia from the land of Lincoln. And hopefully I'll see you sometime soon. Thank you for being on Finish Line. And the winner for the Pro Late Models and the Supers at Speedfest will be here on the program next Wednesday afternoon.
Good deal. Thank you.
Adam Mackey, ladies and gentlemen, of course, announcer as well as the man with Bob Sargent and Track Enterprises. And, of course, we now move from Speedfest and prepare to talk about dirt track racing. And the man that picked up a big win, first win this year for the World of Outlaw Late Model Series, is now joining us on Finish Line. And that is another man in his car, ready to go. Longtime friend from Chickamauga, Georgia, Mac Daddy, Dale McDowell. Dale, welcome to Finish Line, sir. I think it's the first time we've had you on the program.
I believe it is.
It certainly is, man. Well, look, it's awesome to see you again, whether it's on broadcast camera, but running to you at the racetrack. What a special win for you. And I know you've had some special wins, from the Dream to the World 100 to wins at racetracks across the country with the World of Outlaws, Lucas Oil, Ultimate Series, Southern All-Stars, you name it. You've done so well. What did it mean to battle cancer, beat it, and get back into doing what you love quickly, getting in a race car? And did it just feel special down at Victory Lane Saturday afternoon for Friday night's race at Volusia?
Well, definitely it felt special. 4 months ago, didn't know what we were going to be doing or what I was going to be faced with when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And so, working with the doctors and going through trying to decide, what steps to take. And that was mid-September when we made all the decision process. So I got to race through about mid-September, and then they did my surgery end of September. So after that, it was just kind of a waiting game to see how quickly I, rebounded and recovered and was ready to go. So my doctor a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went in to see him, and he gave me his blessing and told me to go like I wanted, or I felt like going, just do what you feel like doing. And Shane and I decided to go to Volusia. We originally hadn't planned on going down. We usually go for the February portion. Last year we were down for the Sunshine Nationals as well, but this year we went down as really a gauge, just to see where I was as a driver, where we were, as a team, and so it just all worked out for us. And very blessed. Had a lot of people behind me, throughout this ordeal, and I leaned on a lot of people, and actually had to call some people and get some ideas on what to do. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. I learned a lot, but really just the important part, was so much support from my family and Tiffany and the kids and Shane and Sarah and all of our race fans and all of our sponsors. Kept me really in good spirits, and so I think that was good for the healing process. And so hopefully we had a good run down there. The one race we did get in. So we're looking forward to going back.
Dale, I don't want to get you in trouble with the World Racing Group in any way. I announce with them a lot for events, and I know you race with them. But there was so much talk about the track conditions at Volusia. Is it on account of the weather, too much water put down on the racetrack, the first race of the season in the Gremlins? What was your take of the racetrack conditions on Friday leading up to Saturday before the rains came, saturating the facility, not able to run on Saturday night from Friday? And do you feel like that they made the right call?
I feel like they made the right call. First of all, when they put dirt on it, I talked to Brian Carter when we were there. They put 300 loads of dirt on, and hoping that it would mix in and mix well with the other. So that being said, it didn't. But what happens when you have a racetrack of that size and you carry that much speed at a place, really the holes show up huge. So if you would have had those track conditions on a 3/8 mile slower racetrack, no big deal. That track,
Right.
Being, with that speed, it just intensifies everything. So, it was. I mean, I would stand up there and watch heats and B mains and stuff and see guys really struggling, and especially if you had to race side by side with somebody. We were fortunate. We were out front and our car was good. Shane did an awesome job, and we had good shock program with Fox Shocks, and so we it didn't bother us as bad. But when you would try to get back in there and race, then it started kind of putting everyone in a danger zone, and they did everything they could. The weather didn't cooperate with them, when they were trying to fix it, because it was just
Certainly.
a little wet on depth, so it would look good on top, and then when you got under the ground, under the surface, then the ground was still soft. So that's where the problems came, because the ground would kind of pump, and when they were out there trying to prep it, so it would just get rougher and rougher and rougher. So they did everything they could, but I think they made the right decisions. I'd like to stay and race because we had things going our way, but I think for the big picture, I think they made the right decision.
Again, we're talking to Dale McDowell. Dale McDowell picking up the big win at the Sunshine State Nationals, which has actually in years past been a crate late model program, super late model unsanctioned. This year, they made it a first round race in the World of Outlaw Late Model Series. And of course, he picked up the big win. The race was scheduled for, I believe, Thursday night. He won. Friday night. Friday got postponed into Saturday. They ran Friday's show, and then the Saturday weather came in, and then they basically had to pull the plug on everything else. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, Dale, and yourself from what you did as a promoter at Boyd Speedway in Ringgold, Georgia. By the way, they got Cabin Fever coming up this weekend, so a shameless plug to them. But you kind of, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't as a promoter, especially when you're fighting track conditions and the weather elements, and it seems like nothing wants to work on the two.
Well, perfectly said. I mean, as a track owner, you work to get the racetracks as smooth as you can get them. But on the back side of that, sometimes when the tracks have a little bit of character to them, that's when our racing is best. That's when the best product is produced for the race fans. So I think the racetracks, if they're perfectly smooth, that's great for the racer. A lot of times that doesn't produce any cautions, so the race will run green to checkered. And as a promoter, you really don't want that. As a racer, you really kind of, you love it. So it's a balance between putting on a good show for the race fans, just producing a good product, that's out there for the race fans, because that's what it's all about. We got to have those race fans, to enjoy what we do. That enables us to do what we love to do, so there's definitely a balance, and everybody has an opinion. And man, when you're a promoter, I know, when I talked to Brian the other day, I was like, I know you're getting hit with 1,000 different directions of what you should and shouldn't do. I said, but just work your way through it, and and you'll be fine.
Mac Daddy, stand by. My producer is going to ask you a question. He's in my ear right now. Stand by. You'll listen in for it.
All right, so random question here. This is just a random question because I saw it was raining where he's at, and I've been around the racing world enough, and I hear a lot of drivers, at least in the state of Texas, they like it when it rains on the track instead of the water truck watering it. I know it's completely random, as yourself being in racing. Do you like it when the rain? They say it makes a smoother surface when the rain hits it and waters it versus a water truck watering the track. Do you like that, and do you think it helps make for a smoother surface?
Well, I a lot of times when it rains hard, that compacts the racetracks. So the racetracks will get harder with rainwater. Like if you're on them with a water truck and you're putting water on, then you'll move the dirt around, so to speak, when you're running across it in different lanes. So it does create some ruts and a little bit rougher conditions. But anywhere we go, if a rain shower comes in, the racetrack, it always has more grip. But we feel like the reason it has more grip is because it's watering the entire place at one time. You're not coming by and putting too much water in this area, not enough in that area. So I have seen it. I've seen it where the rain produces a lot of traction equally across the racetrack. So maybe an area that they don't water as much, the top of one corner or the bottom of the one corner or something, that all in a rain shower, that all gets wet. So when that happens, then that produces traction or a wider groove sometimes. So yeah, I think it can. I've seen it do both, but it does seem to add grip for some reason. And I think it's just the amount of even covering the surface, with water. It creates good racing.
Now, Dale, if I remember correctly, you are preparing for the Super Bowl of racing with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, and that will be at Golden Isle Speedway in Brunswick, Georgia. That fires up with practice tonight, racing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. My goodness, the money that's on the line is astronomical. Key point on that, because I was talking to promoter and friends Dave C. and Stan Lester today in a Zoom conference about it. Have we got out of hand? Obviously, for you drivers, you love it. Here comes the money, cash in. But has the sanctioning bodies or has promoters got out of hand with putting up too much dollars, and eventually it's going to hurt the sport? Dale, your take on this, buddy?
Well, first of all, we're not going to be able to run Golden Isles, but they are starting there tonight. We're just kind of easing in with me because just to make sure that I was okay. So we weren't planned to do that.
Gotcha.
But to answer your question, I feel like racing is in a weird place because now we're drawing so many new race fans, through different streaming services and Dirt Vision and Lucas Oil Dirt and Flow Racing and all the different streaming things. So that's introducing that. So the sport is growing. Hopefully, I think, a lot of people are out there and they're wanting to schedule these events. I think it's going to help in a lot of areas as far as maybe create more teams that'll go run some of that. Obviously, if you just got one series, you're not going to have as many teams as if you got several series. So I think for the depth of our racing, it lets a guy where he's running Southern All-Stars or a regional division growing and coming up, it lets him go, run some of the different bigger races without having all the competition piled in one race. We have enough races really throughout the year that everybody's pulled together. The World 100, the Dream, A lot of those are the sanctioning bodies don't schedule against those guys, and so you get the best of the best and a pile of them there. My one concern that I have is the local promoter. If we get to where we're at home watching it on TV, we're not out supporting our local dirt tracks. So somehow, and I don't have the answer to this, but somehow we've got to get it to where, if this thing keeps growing and getting popular, that it can feed the local dirt tracks through some kind of sponsorship programs or thing like that to help them. Because if it robs people out of the grandstands and they're staying at home because they got the availability of watching dirt late model events all over the place, or any kind of asphalt, short track asphalt, now we can stay home. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty. When I'm off, I'll stay home instead of going out at places that we used to. So that's one of my major concerns. But I think with the series, I like the growth side of it, and it, if it lets more people race, and gives them opportunity in their region, it lets a guy maybe not have to travel from Tennessee to the Midwest, or maybe a guy that runs, a certain area, it makes him not have to travel as far to go run a big touring event or a big event. So, I think time will tell what adjustments that maybe need to be made. But that is my concern, the local dirt tracks and the promoters, a lot like what I was in the position I was in at Boyd Speedway. You get concerned because then you start tapping into the people that are coming out supporting the local Saturday night guys.
Certainly. Charles, go ahead, buddy.
First off, Boyd Speedway. Are you from Texas or is that a different Boyd Speedway?
No. Boyd Speedway is right there in Chattanooga. It's
okay. We got a Boyd Speedway in Texas too. So.
It's really right there in Chattanooga. Actually, it's part of the racetrack, or the racetrack's in Georgia, and the pit area is in Tennessee. It's right on the line.
That's right.
So my thought is, and Wesley, I used to work for Race on Texas till I went full time with LSRTV. But they actually have a program in place to where they charge, I think it's like $14.99 for their live streaming service, and they actually split 50-50 with the track. So each month the track gets a check, and I know I won't mention the track name, so someone will try to rob the bank account or something. But I know at one point they were getting like $2,000 a month a check, and that adds up. So I think it should be all over. I think Lowe should do it. I think everybody should do it. Charge maybe a little more for the online streaming service if you stream at a track. Split that money with the track. So if you do steal some people from the fans, they still are getting a cut of something to help them keep going. And it works. They do it to where even if the off season, if you keep your membership, they still get a cut in the off season. So they're getting, $2,000-$3,000 checks even during the winter when they're out racing.
And Dale, the segue to that as well, buddy, before you retract, is I love the streaming. I work in streaming. I work in broadcasting. You're a driver. We want to highlight you. We want to promote you. But it's got to be a 50-50 win-win for everybody. You got to have the asses in the seats for the fans, for the promoter, but you've also got to do the broadcasting of the streams, but it's got to be where it's feasible, where everybody's winning. And if somebody's not winning and somebody's hurting, you're eventually going to have to cut it loose. And then that hurts people like you because you go all over the country and they want to follow where you race at.
Yes, and that's exactly right. I mean, there has to be some kind of a unification between everybody to where they can make this work and help. I mean, because it is growing, the popularity of it's growing. Certainly I get texts from all over the place, when we race somewhere, of people watching that haven't watched, that are available to watch now, or capable of watching now, the opportunities there, so that part of it is neat. And that's what, we need to use that. And it's just a balance. So if they can get it to where they can trickle down through, some sponsorship programs or whatever they may do with the local tracks, because those guys, I mean, that's our grassroots racing. Grassroots racing is I didn't think much about it. I was a part of it, and then as you're coming up and you're going and growing and running, you don't forget about it, but you don't look at the importance of it. And in today's world, the grassroots racing is so important because that is the future, of our sport. So you want those guys, you want people to get involved, you want families, to get involved, and you want family support, and that happens on a local level. When people just start going to the racetracks, and so somehow, I'm just an advocate of helping any way in that portion of it that I could. But just because I know how tough it is as a racetrack promoter, because we would lose out there, when you couldn't tie it directly to everything, but we could tell a difference of several hundred people in the stands, on our local Saturday night program. So somehow that's the area that I think that needs to be worked on and touched on. And as far as many of these series doing this, guys can pick and choose. Now the series probably aren't going to like it. The individual series aren't going to like it because, now a guy can maybe not follow a series, and commit. Some of them can, some of them can't. So I think that's yet to be determined, on what people's commitment level is, as far as if they were to run Lucas, or they were to run the XR series, or they were to run the World of Outlaw series, so now they're kind of choosing. And I think that is going to come from the region that works best for the race team. I think that's what they'll look at. They'll say, with their schedule, it works better for me to do this. But that's another product of growth, because if we got a guy in Texas, or racing out of Texas or something like that, the next XR series maybe look a little bit more attractive. And so I think all of that, can work itself out.
Few more minutes with Del McDowell, and then we're going to talk about the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series upcoming at Daytona with young Motorsports driver Danny Bowen. Also, we'll have Preston Peltier, winner of the Chili Willy 150 at Arizona, on the January 26th finish line. Dale, final question, buddy. I'll let you go. You said that this past weekend was just a shakedown, if you will, just a practice session. And then you go out there and you win the damn race. Obviously, that's got you hyped up. It's got your brother Shane excited, I know. When is your next race going to be? And what is your scale of schedule going to be for this upcoming 2022 season?
Well, our schedule has been kind of scaled back because we do some driver development stuff, or have been doing driver development stuff. So it's been, about 50 races a year is what we run through Shane McDowell Racing. So, I don't know what we're going to do. We're still down here in Florida, and it's kind of cold and rainy, unusual weather for here. But we may run a couple of these races. We're definitely going to go back to Volusia. And we did just come down just to kind of see. We come down with one car, and just to kind of see, where we were. And then he was going to go back home and kind of regroup. Because honestly, if I wasn't ready and our program wasn't ready, then we probably weren't going to come down for February, for the Speed Weeks version of everything. Right. So, but anyway, everything's going well. Good Lord above has allowed me to heal up and still do what we love. And we got great partners and sponsors. And so we'll get back going, I'd say, after we'll come back down here for February. And if not run, he was talked to me this morning about discussing some races possibly between now and then. So that's up in the air. But I'd say we'll be back full force in March when we get back home and start running regional stuff.
Final question, and I'll let you go. Eldora Speedway announced a couple of months ago that they are bringing back the Eldora Million. They're paying $1 million to win. It's not been done since 2001 when the $1 Million Man out of Dresden, Ohio, Donnie Moran, won it. How excited are you as being somebody that you better put your cards on at Eldora? Because, man, every time it seems like you're there, either you win or you're a threat to win. Could you possibly go for $1 million in September or June, actually?
We're going to go for it. I do think it's going to produce some excitement. As well as I do, when you dangle those carrots out there, things get intense. They get intense. And so those heat races, guys will be taking chances that they don't normally take, so I think you're going to have to play the defense on some of it. But it should be an awesome show for the fans. And we just hope that we can be up there in contention. And man, you never know what I've been through. 4 months ago, if you'd told me I was going to come down here in Florida and win a race, I'd have told you were crazy. So you never know. Anything's possible. We have been fortunate and have run well there, a pretty consistent runner over the past several years. And so, we're just going to go give it our best. But it should be an awesome show for the race fans. A lot of money up for grabs, and should be great.
God is good. Shane McDowell and Michael McDowell Racing to follow. Dale McDowell, all of the things that he's done. I had Daytona on the brain looking at my script here, about to talk about Daytona in a minute. But yes, Dale McDowell and, of course, Shane McDowell Racing for all their social media platforms. And Dale, thank you for a patriot of the sport, for all that you've done for so many decades. Thank you for kicking cancer's ass. And because so many people don't win the battle, and you got it done, and you're back in a race car doing what you love. And continued success in 2022 wherever you go.
Well, I appreciate what you guys do, and I appreciate all the race fans out there supporting us. And I'm just blessed. I'm just a blessed guy, and I'm 55 years old. I got a couple more years. I feel like hopefully I can take advantage of racing and stay competitive with these guys. And so I'm just going to have fun doing it. Been doing it for a long time. This is my 41st year, I think. So been doing it for a long time, but I've met so many good people, so many good relationships throughout our journeys. And so just having fun at it. So I appreciate what you guys do. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you, Dale McDowell, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere in Florida, fighting the weather, fighting the cold, and he joins us again here on Finish Line, winner of the Sunshine State Nationals for the World of Outlaw Late Model Series, and they'll be back later on in February, part of the Dirt Car Nationals. We now go from Florida, somewhere in Florida, and we talk about Daytona now here on Finish Line, and joining us outside somewhere in beautiful North Carolina, in Winston-Salem, that is my friend from the Modifieds to also the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It was just announced yesterday that he's worked on a deal with Young's Motorsports to help him ride around the World Center of Racing coming up in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series event in Daytona. He's been on before, back in 2021 when we were talking Modifieds. Danny Bone, welcome back to Finish Line, my friend. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man. Thanks for having me on here again.
Oh, man, it is a pleasure. Hey, listen, so I know it's cold. I know you're a Carolina boy like me. We're sick of this dang snow. I know we are. Ready to get down to Florida.
Yeah, I am. I kind of wish I was in Florida right now. It's a little cold up here, but yeah, really looking forward to it. We got 23 days till we're back at the track, and I can't wait. I'm really excited for this opportunity. It came together a little bit last minute, but definitely fortunate to be able to do it, and go down there and make the best of it. Hopefully, we can put that thing in victory lane.
And by the way, I will say this as well. We just had Dale McDowell from the World of Outlaw Late Models winner at Volusia from Florida. He said it's cold, it's raining, so enjoy the 35, 40-degree weather in Winston-Salem and the sunshine where you're at right now. So definitely.
Yeah, it's not terrible. But yeah, I'm sitting here looking at a snow pile, so it's still a little cool out here.
Oh, yeah.
But now, like I said, just I can't wait.
So listen, this is a big opportunity. Obviously, I'm looking at it right now. Danny Bone joins Young Motorsports for a Truck Series opener at Daytona. And of course, you're bringing your partner, sponsor from last year, North American Motor Car, along with you for the ride. It's on the modified car. It was on the truck ride. Man, I know you're excited about wheeling that around Daytona in February.
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank them enough. They've been huge supporters of mine for the last 4 years. This will be our 4th year in the NASCAR National Series. And, like you said, put them on the modified, and, extremely thankful for all of their support. I'm excited for them. They're just a couple months away from finishing their facility up in Danbury, Connecticut. So just a lot of really exciting things. And hopefully, like I said, we can drum up some attention. I know that, they offer a lot of automotive stuff for people that have cars or looking for cars, need worked on cars, or your car's stored. They got, their building will have 267 car inside storage, and pretty much anything you need done to your car, hot rod. You want one built, they can build it. You want one restored, they can restore it. And if you're looking for one, they can go find it for you. So, like I said, if anybody's in the market, reach out to them up there in Connecticut. Great people. And yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have these opportunities if it wasn't for people like them. And, like I said, just extremely grateful. Have a really good relationship with them. And, we're going to go make the best of this. Like I said, we're committed to Daytona. We're working on some more, and we're going to go make the best of this one.
Again, Danny Bone joining us. Modifieds, man, how about it? Getting ready for modified racing too. What's your plans? Are you going to try to maybe put a little more emphasis and focus on the NASCAR schedule this year, or because you kind of been playing possum on your social media, but I guess it's also because you were kind of waiting to see what this Young's Motorsports deal was going to offer for Daytona, but. You are a connoisseur. You like to go from the modified to the truck, and sometimes you go back and forth. I mean, I remember, matter of fact, your reason of being on Finish Line last year was you were at Watkins Glen for a truck race, and then you flew all the way on the same day back to Bowman Gray Stadium to race the modified at the Madhouse.
Yeah, I did that twice last year. I did it at Watkins Glen, I believe, and Pocono. Yeah, but you're right. I really love the modifieds. They've pretty much been a part of my whole racing career since the start, and it's kind of put me on the map. I was racing modifieds at Bowman Gray when this first truck opportunity came 4 years ago. So, I do try to support the modified division as much as I can. Bowman Gray Stadium has been really good to me in my career, was with the championship and getting my name out there. So, I don't want to completely turn my back on them, but this opportunity with Young's and all that's involved with it. Like you're right though. I played possum last year, and bounced around a lot. Just trying to do as much as I could to, be in front of fans and get my sponsors out there and just stay active. But this year I think I'm going to cut back on the modified stuff some. I do have a car that I'm getting ready to run some the NASCAR Tour races. So hopefully do Martinsville, possibly Richmond. Wall Stadium's a conflict of the Truck Series schedule if we're at Mid-Ohio. So there's a couple Smart Tour races that I want to hit. And then obviously, like I said, I like to support Bowman Gray. So there's the 200 lapper that is on my bucket list to win. It's the only race that I haven't won over there yet. So we're off that weekend. So definitely try to hit that. But, maybe a handful, 5, 6, 7 races in the modified. Always like to support Turkey Derby. But then, mainly just focus on this truck opportunity with Young's Motorsports. I can't thank them enough for the opportunity. And, a lot of people in my corner over there. And we're going to make the best of this. Like I said, I have high hopes, and the more I can focus on that, I think the better we can do. Unlike a lot of the people that I race against, and the Truck Series and modified stuff, like I'm on break at work right now. So since I moved to North Carolina in 2008, I've been working for Ray Evernham, and appreciate him being allowing me to take time off to chase my racing dream. And it's been it's a lot to keep up with. And but like I said, I've done all this with a 40-hour-a-week job, and thankful for him allowing me to do this. And my dad, he's wrenched on everything that I've ever drove. So I need to thank him for all of his support. And just a really fortunate person to have the support I have. And I hope that I don't come from rich family. I don't come from a last name. And I've clawed my way to this point that started. I had one opportunity, and I got to thank On Point Motorsports. I got to thank Stephen Lane. There's always been plenty of talk of maybe a truck start or an ARCA start and stuff like that, but he's the one that gave me that start. So just really fortunate.
I feel bad for you right now because my poor buddy Danny is standing there and he's like just holding the phone like this because I see you doing it. Turn around, Danny. Turn around.
This
There's
way?
a park bench right there. Go
Yeah,
sit
no,
down at that damn park bench. Go
well,
sit down at that
so
park bench and just kind of put your phone up on the table like that for me.
I can do that. I was trying to get level with you here. I got it on the back of a pickup truck right now, to be honest with you. It's on the tailgate, but I'm
Oh,
probably shaking a little bit.
okay. I mean, it's not really shaking. I mean, I gotta say, you got damn good posture. It's not, shake, rattle, and roll like some cameramen I've seen. So you're doing good. But I do
You
know,
getting it done?
we got like another 10 minutes. He's like, damn, my
Ah,
arm is killing me after this interview.
no, it's all good. No, it's leaning on the back of a tailgate right now. So I was gonna try to,
That's
I
right.
thought about doing it inside, but it's a little noisy. So come out here and get some sun and
I love the noise. I love the noise. Take us on a field trip inside Evernham Motorsports,
yeah.
Danny.
I'd have to
Seriously.
go. I'd have to go run that by the higher ups if I come walking through there with a camera.
No, I got it. Hey, by the way, speaking of higher ups, Ray Evernham, Tony Stewart, they're involved in the SRX and in the Superstar Racing Experience. Has there been any? Have you talked to Ray? Man, hey, I'd like to go in one of those cars. Would you like to run that 6-week mini summer series if the opportunity presented itself, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely love to jump in one. I don't think at this point in my career that I'd get a ton more viewers to tune in if I was in the thing. But I feel like that if we were short track racing, I feel like I could give every one of them a run for their money in an equal prepared car. But I've joked around with them about it before. Hey, man, how do I get one of those? One day I was like, how many truck races you got left? 8. He goes, you win 6, then we can talk. So that
There
didn't
you go.
happen.
There you
So
go.
still, still like I said, it's we're clawing to the top. So just one step at a time, and like I said, it's a lot of people in my corner, and very, very, very fortunate to have these opportunities.
Danny, talk to our viewers here and our listeners on the radio on Finish Line. What is it like to wheel a car or truck around Daytona? To go from a place like Charlotte or a short track like Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond, and then you're wide open at Daytona. What is it like?
So I'll give you my first experience at Talladega. That would have been my first super speedway. The last year and a half, we've had no practice. So me and my crew chief Stephen Lane were cracking jokes on pit road at Talladega. It's like, man, come from Bowman Gray to Talladega, and with no practice. So we're getting ready to go out. They give you 4 parade laps, so that would have been the extent of my laps around Talladega before we took the green. Well, we had some radio issues, so I left pit road late and was actually catching the field coming down the backstretch. They had already taken the 1 to go, so I kind of just fell into place coming off of 4, and then we were wide open down the backstretch. And I'll be honest with you, after a few laps, it kind of seems to not feel like you're going that fast. Like, I guess it's close to like driving down the highway when you're next to a semi truck and it starts to blow you around. There's a lot of that. And, when you're watching on TV, you can kind of see the cars and trucks moving around. I mean, that's the air. You're just getting blown around. So
That's turbulence.
Yeah, I mean, yep. So you're kind of just trying to ease it, put a little wheel in it and kind of keep it straight. And my first experience, I didn't want to ride around the back, even though sometimes that's the way to go. But I kind of had to put myself in a position to where, I got to learn this. You know what I mean? I got to learn how to super speedway race. So I was up there running in the back of the lead pack, and I said you kind of get used to the speed, but you in the back of your mind, you're doing 180, 190 mile an hour. Well, they started wrecking. I'm like, all right, this is good. I'll be fine. I could see it. And then I checked up, and the guy behind me, like 5 trucks behind me, running the back of me. And then I was in the outside wall, in the grass, and then it just happened so fast. Like
it's just the oh shit moment, right? I mean, it's just hold on and hang on, and whatever happens, happens, right? I mean, just
basically,
it's kind of like the old cliche about a plane crash. Put your head between your legs and pray for the best.
That's it. I mean, yeah, there's. You like to think short track race. I get on the brakes a little bit, steer through this. You better pick a hole and hope it doesn't close, because there's, and then obviously you run smaller brake packages for speed at the super speedways because you're not using brakes. So, you know, they don't stop that good, and they're 1,000 pounds heavier than 95% of the cars I ever raced. So,
Right. Certainly.
you know, it was definitely a huge learning curve. And then, like I said, without any practice, it was just like kind of just threw me in a pack, you know, a pack of wolves. Just go ahead. You know what I mean? It's, but just like I said, after I did that though, the first time, it's like, okay, you know, we went to Daytona last year. In the beginning of last year, I ran the Xfinity race and the truck race, and you know, kind of played the defense a little bit, and actually worked with the Young's Motorsports trucks in the truck race. And heck, I got spun out a couple 100 feet from the start finish line there, coming to the checker in the truck race, and the truck that spun me out finished sixth. So you know, I've put myself in pretty good positions the last few, you know, after the maiden voyage. So, you know, that's one nice thing about Young's Motorsports. I have two other teammates that, you know, I'll be able to draft with at Daytona, work with at Daytona, and then, you know, as the season progresses, it's conversations that I could have with other crew chiefs and conversations that I could have with other drivers, which, you know, like I said, I just never had that. So I think, you know, I think that'll help my learning curve a little bit. And, you know, we do start to practice this year, and, you know, the more laps that I can get, you know, like 90% of the races that I've done the last year and a half have been green flag. You know, you got what you got. And then some of the places I've never been to. So it's not like you're just practicing, you know, by yourself. There's 39 other trucks out there. So you're trying to keep an eye on them. You're trying to hit your marks. You're trying not to wreck the truck. And, you know, there's a lot going on. So, you know, kind of this year is kind of like a little bit of a, you know, a different situation with having teammates and having practice. So, and then a lot of the tracks that we will go to this year, I've been to, you know, so it's, I really do have high hopes.
So we got a couple more minutes here with Danny Bone. How do you prepare? Like, obviously for these races, you get in shape. We're in the off season right now. Technically, we're in the off season. You're firing up here with the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum, at the LA Coliseum next Friday and Saturday. And it's also been announced that it's available on iRacing today as well. I'm looking forward to seeing that when I get a chance to. But in addition to that, you know, you're in the off season. You haven't really ran anything since Phoenix in November. How do you get back in shape? How do you stay in shape? What's it like running around Daytona compared to Charlotte behind me, a short track, or Richmond or Martinsville? Obviously, road courses are a different animal. How do you be the fit NASCAR driver just in the truck series?
I'll be flat out honest with you. I need to do a better job, but you know, I think you know, we
Put
ran
him on the spot.
Hey, I wish I could do more, but between all the, you know, I work on my own modifieds, and we ran Turkey Derby at the end of November there. We finished fifth, and you know, we had the holidays, and, you know, honestly, been working really hard to get this opportunity, and you know, a lot of time on the phone, a lot of different packages, and a lot of sleepless nights to have went into this opportunity. And you know, like I said, I still work a full-time job, so
Sure.
you know, I stay extremely active. Like if I'm not doing something, working on something, you know, I kind of start to lose my mind. So you know, I think maybe at some point in my career, yeah, at some point in my career, I'd like to just be able to, you know, wake up and work out and really, really focus on the driving part. But until then,
Yeah.
you know, I can't complain. You know, I'm doing it. You know, I've had this opportunity, and is it the traditional opportunity that, you know, most of the people I'm racing against? No, but I am gonna, you know, I'll have to stand out above the rest and put in the extra work, and, you know, I'll go out there and do the best I can, and slowly, like I said, chip away at bettering myself. And one thing that'll help me this year is, like I said, not committing to, you know, we were leading the points there at Bowman Gray, so it was like, how do you not try to make the whole season? You know what I mean? And then that kind of, not that it was something that I shouldn't have done, but you know, you can only focus on so many things and give everything 100%. So, you know, I told myself, I'm not, you know, if I end up making all those couple modified races I want to do, great. But if not, then I don't have to be there. You know what I mean? So I have this great opportunity in front of me. I have, my great partners, North American Motor Car, on board right now, and I think more than anything, Tyler Young has took a chance on me at Young's Motorsports, and we're all, I'm going to have a really good truck. I know that for a fact, and this is hopefully my time to shine. We've had good runs in the past, and we've had bad runs, but like I said, just for me, I need to focus on this, and I don't ever want to go back later in life and say, man, I wish I didn't do that, or I wish I would have did this, and maybe if I did this and
Certainly.
this. I'm 100% in on this opportunity. We got 23 days until we get to Daytona, and there's a lot of stuff that I have to do in between, but it's all eyes ahead and all eyes forward, and we're gonna go give it 110%.
Yeah, those days ticking by, flying by for sure. Danny Bone, thank you for joining us here on Finish Line. Hey, by the way, we'll let everybody know the godfather of motorsports, Dave Moody, will have Danny Bone on, our guest, right here on Finish Line at 5:30 Eastern Time on Sirius XM Speedway. That's Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. Danny, let everybody know where they can follow you on the world of social media, and of course, we thank you for being on this afternoon.
No, I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully, maybe next time I'll be talking to you after a truck victory or something. But yeah, I have all the social medias: Danny Bone on Instagram, Danny Bone and Danny Bone Racing on Facebook, and then it's dbone659 on Twitter. And like I said, all your automotive dreams go. Call up North American Motor Car. If you're looking for a car, need a car restored, need a car stored,
Yeah.
they will take care of you. So if we can sell some cars, we'll hopefully see them on the truck for a lot more races this year.
Certainly, man. Definitely. Go get them down at Daytona, Danny. And thanks for all that you do in the racing industry, from modifieds to now NASCAR.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, I just want to make everybody proud. There's a lot of people that have came from where I came from, and deserve the same opportunities. And like I said, I don't take it for granted. And like I said, if I could, just make everybody proud, or give another driver that wants to give up some hope. Like there's been plenty of them times that you sit back and say, man, why am I doing this? And then 2 weeks later, you got an opportunity. None of this was lined up 3 weeks ago, and it's all came together, and you just can't lose hope. You just got to keep digging. So like I said, just planning on going to run well and do the best I can.
Yeah, always remember that the teacher's always working, even though you're not hearing from him and it's silent. He's always got some kind of big plan for you. And when you're on the cusp of wanting to throw in the towel and feel like everything's against you, that's when the big blessing comes your way. And I think this is definitely a big opportunity for you. Danny, we got to run. Preston Peltier on the way. Thanks for your time, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.
Danny Bone, he'll be in the Young Motorsports entry in the NextEra Energy Resources 250 at Daytona. That will be on Friday night, February the 18th. And, of course, that will be on the Motor Racing Network for radio and, of course, FS1 for television. Winner of the Chili Willy 150 is joining us now. Tucson Raceway Park. He's actually a two-time winner of that race. Well, it says now in his entry list that he's from Brighton, Colorado, or you could say California, or you could say Concord, North Carolina. He is probably one of the only pavement guys that I know in racing that literally doesn't really have a forwarding address, because he goes all over the place. Preston Peltier, welcome to Finish Line. Good afternoon to you, buddy. Where are you right now?
I'm in the shop. We're actually getting ready to unload from the Chili Willy, and I've got the All-Star Showdown car about 90%, and we're getting ready to load up and head on out to California.
Is that the check behind you? Where is that from? Is that from Evergreen Speedway? Was that from the Summer Showdown, I think it was?
Yeah, that's what that's from.
Yeah, look at that $15,000 Pro Late Model race, man. Holy cow. And you picked up a big win over the weekend, and now you're getting ready to head down to Irwindale. Now, that race is next weekend, am I correct? That's the showdown, the All-Star Showdown for the Spears SRL Southwest Tour. Why are you heading down to Irwindale, California 10 days before the race starts?
It's not 10 days. Well, we're literally, well, the truck's going to leave Wednesday, but we got a lot of stuff to
Okay.
do. And but I have some other circumstances that um, are affecting when I have to be done with all this stuff. So that's kind
Okay.
of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
I got you, man. Well, I totally get that, man. Hopefully everything's okay. But I will say this: look at all of the folks that are watching on Finish Line on our LSR TV production, and for those that are listening, I will paint a picture for you. There are trophies upon trophies upon trophies in a kaleidoscope of colors, nestled on almost 3 deck lids of different tiers. And it's all trophies. And that's just, man, what a racing career you've had, Preston. I mean, I remember knowing you from the Big Ten series back in the day at Concord to the All Pro series to ASA to running the big shows. You're either, and you're either in the 48 car, you're in the number 5 car, you're in the 48 car. You race for so many different teams. And the reason why is you're a really good driver.
Well, and I've kind of found my home. I left Colorado for a year during COVID and came back, and this place is it's always been home, and I, like I said, I've never felt more at home than when I'm here. So, Ed and Eddie, they put me on some really top-notch equipment. Um, we work hard in here. We try to stay on the cutting edge and develop some stuff. Super late model racing is really challenging. It doesn't matter where you go across the country, from California to Florida to Maine. Man, it's tough, heck, it's tough to win at your local short track.
So I know that there was kind of people on the fence, Preston, on going to the Chili Willy at Tucson. What is the grade? Obviously, take away you winning the race, being a 2-time winner now of the event. But what is the grade of what you thought the officiating, the sanctioning bodies, the way things were handled? Obviously, that race was the first NASCAR on Flow Racing broadcast on Friday and Saturday and Sunday from Tucson, Arizona. And that's a new endeavor with, of course, NBC Gold and NBC Track Pass parting ways December 31st. Now all NASCAR coverage, whether it's the ARCA Menard Series, the Modifieds, anything NASCAR sanctioned will be on Flow Racing. But I will say this, though, car counts have been down for that race. Supporting of that race has not been very good. It looked like it was pretty decent this past weekend there, Preston.
Yeah, they had a good field of cars. The thing is, you go to the Midwest or heck, out in North Carolina, there's snow on the ground right now. There's snow on the ground here. So,
Yes, I hate it. I hate it.
If you want to go race, you got to go to where the sunshine is, and it's either Florida or Arizona. Man, that track is unique. The best place that I can equate it to back east would be like an Orange County, and it's fun. It's the only place I've ever felt comfortable showing up and racing 3 wide with the locals, because they do it, week in and week out there. And obviously there are some hiccups, and they're doing their best to remedy that stuff. They brought in Dan Garber from the Northwest Tour Series to do tech and whatnot. I heard next year they're going to try to get the Hoosier guys from they do all the Southwest Tour stuff out there to do tires, and so like they're trying to grow it, and it's getting bigger, and if they can work out those little details, then heck, it's a good show.
Certainly, man. Well, listen, I will know this because I was kind of looking up some stats here amongst all the trophies and the checks and everything you got there. By the way, that car behind him, I think that's the winning car, correct? From the Chili Willy. Is that the number 18 car, or is that the 48 car behind you?
Nope, that's the one this is actually the P1 that won the showdown last year. Both Chili Willy cars are still in the trailer.
There you go. And like I said, he's got a lot of different cars, different numbers. He'll be in the 18, then he'll go to the 48. Sometimes he'll go in the 5. I think he's been in a 54. Basically a lot of success for this driver. I would say this. and I'm not trying to make anybody mad because I have mad respects for Bubba Pollard. I have respect for Stephen Nasse, and you look at what these other guys are done, and they're building their legacies, Tom Majeski and more. But honestly, Boris Yurkovic comes to name. Rich Bickle obviously comes to mind, who retired at the end of the last year at the Derby. But if you look at drivers, and recently people have said the Mount Rushmores of racing, honestly, Preston, and if you were one of my 5, you would be one of the 5 on that Mount Rushmore, because I look at what you've done, not just on a Southeast basis, but you go to the Southeast, you go all the way to the West Coast, you go to the Pacific, you run national events like the Derby, like Winchester, like the All-American. You never know where's Preston going to be. # where's Preston.
I hear you. Well, I've had a lot of support behind me, and a lot of good people help me to achieve my goals. And, I'm very appreciative of that. And I don't do this for the recognition. I'm not one of those kind of people, and I appreciate that I would be in your Mount Rushmore. Man, the biggest reason, I just love doing it. It's very challenging, um, I like the challenge of it. I like racing against the Bubbas and the Derek Thorns, and I want to go where the competition's at, and be a part of that, and enjoy the success, and even believe it or not, enjoy the failure, because the more that we fail, the better we get. And a good example of that is the Derby. I've been to the Derby 7 or 8 times, and I've had some good runs, and I've had some really bad runs, and man, when I run bad, it makes me more determined, and that's my bucket list. I want to go there and at least win a race at Pensacola, let alone the Derby. But the Derby's my bucket list.
Right. And obviously, is that the nemesis? That's the track that you just want to prevail. Obviously, the Derby or the Snowflake, but if you could win a Southern Super Series event, henceforth, question to be added to that. You've seen what Tim Bryant and Nicholas Rogers and the powers that be are doing with the Southern Super Series. And there's also going to be that new SRL National Tour that cranks up in a couple of weeks down in Florida for like $25,000 to win. Will that conjure you to come make the trip to Florida, back to the East Coast? Are you going to make some Southern Super Series races? I believe they pay at least $10,000 or more to win this year.
Yeah, right now, we're talking about it. I've won a championship on the East Coast, and I'm not much for racing for points, but the car owner kind of wants to maybe try for the SRL championship this year, and I'm definitely I want to go back for that doubleheader in April at Pensacola. So
yes. Yes.
My schedule's kind of open. I still, like I said, I still want to run these big races and be a part of that, and keep working on our notebook, and just see what else we can do.
A few more minutes again here with the driver, of course, out of Brighton, Colorado, but in California, Preston Peltier, of course, winner of the Chili Willy 150 NASCAR sanctioned event at Tucson Raceway Park. And man, and what a lot of people don't realize, Preston, there's so much history at Tucson Raceway Park. We just had Danny Bone on a few moments ago, and he's talking about running the truck race at Daytona coming up with Young's Motorsports. Maybe a lot of people don't realize the history of the sport of NASCAR for the trucks. Of course, NASCAR Cup is going on 75 years of racing this season, but the truck series was based off of where you just won the Chili Willy 150. It was based off of running the Super Truck Series at Tucson Raceway Park when they used to run co-sanctioned with the NASCAR West Series.
Yeah, I'll tell you. When I was a kid, I used to, man, I lived for Saturday nights at Mesa Marin, and they did their first exhibition truck race there, and man, it was incredible to watch. And I'll tell you, you were talking about the Mount Rushmore short track racing, man. Mine would include Ron Hornaday, and I used to watch him as a kid, and that guy was my hero, and he just did incredible things with the car, and I learned so much from watching him you know, the interviews that he did, the little stuff that he would say. You know, there's some gold in some of that stuff that those people talk about, and it's just little tidbits that make a difference during a race. And I don't know. I just thought I would throw that out there. He's definitely in my Mount Rushmore.
So sure. Sorry about that. I was trying to fix the back collar of my neck where the clip was there, and the camera guy got me in time when I was doing it. So a few more minutes with, of course, Preston Peltier. He just does it that way. We'll get, of course, we'll come back with Finish Line 2 hours next week, getting ready for, of course, the All-Star Showdown. Now, you won the Chili Willy 2 times. You're now trying to become a 2-time winner of this. Or actually, you are a 2-time winner of the All-Star Showdown. Am I correct? Or are you trying to go for the repeat?
No, this will be the repeat. I finished second.
Okay.
I finished second, and so I have a P2 and a P1. The one that I have multiple wins at is Evergreen, this summer showdown.
Sure, definitely. The races, the schedule. Why you travel all over the country, Preston? What is the difference between the West Coast racing, even the Pacific Northwest, to the East Coast style, the Midwest style? What's the similarities and differences?
Well, the East Coast is definitely more aggressive. You know, like it was kind of a culture shock coming out here to the West Coast because they don't race the same way. You know, like if somebody could get to your bumper back there to win a race, it's going to happen, and you just live with it. And I kind of grew up racing that way, and I understood that that's the way that it was, and I'm okay with that as long as you don't wreck my car. You know, like if you can get to me and move me out of the way, hey, it's good racing. I might even pay you back. But you know, like totally destroying somebody is not really my idea of racing. But to the West Coast, you know, most of the time I noticed that the guys, like, you know, they would cry if you got a wheel mark on their car, and that's really the big difference. You know, going to the Northwest and the Midwest, man, the Midwest has got some really good racers up there, and I wish I could race up there more often. And you know, the competition level up there is wow. It's like it's stout. So, but you know, there's good racers that come from every part of the country, and that's what I like about these big races is you get there and most of those guys are, you know, they show up and you know, steel sharpens steel. That's what it's all about.
For sure, definitely, man. And you know what? Like, for instance, I want to go back to the Derby, Preston, because you were at Pensacola in December. The battle between Chandler Smith, a Southern driver, California driver Derek Thorne. You know, did you feel like that was roughing him up, moving him out of the way, not racing clean, or was that doing what you got to do to win the race to get the Tom Dawson Trophy?
So you're asking an East Coast guy that question, and I can't even count on both hands how many times I've been knocked out of the way for a win. So you know, that's racing. You know, you got to expect it. You got to drive defensively for it, or know that that's going to happen. Put yourself in a position that maybe they can't do it, or you know, there's obviously there's ways that you can help your chances, you know, if somebody's going to do something like that. And, you know, most of the time you can make it to where if they're going to do it, they're going to clean you both out. And you know, that's just the way it is. So no, I think that it's hard racing. And I had a conversation with Derek because we kind of have this little deal going between us. And yeah, I like Derek. I got a lot of respect for the guy.
Right.
But what I've noticed is when you get two good drivers together, what happens is you're so close that in order to get around that guy or to take that victory, you know, you might have to move him out of the way. And this little move turns into this bigger bump that turns into a knock out of the way to, you know, this guy gets spun out, and before you know it, you're in the middle of a car fight. And I don't want to get into that with anybody, but I also want them to understand that, look, like, you're that good that I have to race you a particular way, and you know
Certainly.
that you can hold me down. I can have a faster car. You can hold me down and keep me behind you. And if you're willing to do that, then I'm willing to just nudge you a little bit. And it always tends to just escalate from there. And what I've noticed over the years is even my worst enemies in racing, when we get away from the racetrack, we're buddies. You know, like um, you know, if you can remember back the Newtons, you know, man, if we were on the racetrack together, we were wrecking. And toward the end of that deal with those guys, I ended up driving for them, and we're great friends even today. And
Yeah.
it just goes to show you that we're all interested in the same thing, and not everybody can win. Obviously, that's what our goal is, but that's what I find that happens. And unfortunately for Derek, you know, leading the most laps isn't leading the last one, and you know, it is what it is.
It's always good talking to you, Preston. Final question, buddy. You can throw out your sponsors, and we'll let you go and wrap up Finish Line. Safe travels to California, to Irwindale, looking for that second All-Star Showdown win. But, you know, my final question would be basically, you know, you look at everything that you've done success-wise, you know, what is your plans for 2022? Where are we going to see you race at? Are you kind of on the fence of where you go? Are you running where the money's at? Could we see Preston Peltier do some dirt? Have you ever thought about doing dirt?
I've been on dirt before, and actually, I'm you know, dirt to me is pretty natural. I like it. I don't like getting dirty, but I have a lot of fun on dirt racing. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny. This morning we went to breakfast and we were talking about maybe building a midget. So
there you go.
Yeah,
Go to the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, that would be cool. But no, right now, you know, you can count on me showing up to some big money races. I don't race quite as much as I used to. You know, we went from running 30 or 36 shows a year to down to around 10, and that's about all I got these days. It's a lot of work especially to go to one of those big shows. So, but if there's money there, then maybe I might show up.
Well, Bud, before I do let you go, final question my producer's asking me. iRacing, have you ever done iRacing? Have you ever been on iRacing, Preston?
Yes, I have, and I'm terrible at it. The real thing's way easier.
You have been invited to the Super Late Model Invitational free entry because you're a professional race car driver, Preston. If you want to take this opportunity, Sunday, March the 20th, I think it's paying $500 to win. Maybe you can buy some shocks with it, or at least half shocks. I don't know. You know, was it
half a shot maybe?
I will give Charles your information, and you guys talk, and we'll see if we can get you. You have an iRacing. You have an iRacing rig and everything.
I do, yeah.
Yep. What's your rating? Wait a minute. You said you're a bad driver. Don't answer that.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'll tell you, the last time that I was on it was probably a year ago.
Gotcha. Wow. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you and Charles need to do everything in the rule book, but everything. So, Preston, man, thanks for joining us on Finish Line, man. Winning at the Chili Willy 150 down there at Tucson. Good luck at the All-Star Showdown at Irwindale. And, man, thanks for being an ambassador. Great person to the sport. Known you for many, many years. Always great to talk to, and taking your time to join us this afternoon.
Thank you. We'll see you guys later.
All right, buddy. There you go. Preston Peltier at Peltier Racing on Facebook. And, of course, he doesn't have a Twitter. He ain't in the Twitter world. He's like Charles. He's like my producer. You can chime in here, Smart Alec. You're not on Twitter, are you?
Not that you'll ever find me. No,
Oh, he got that lock. He got that lock down on Twitter. He got that name in the lock. Okay, so you gotta find him. He's got to give you his. You gotta give him the URL code or something, whatever you call it.
You want to find me on Twitter? Just go look at LSRTV.
There you go. At LSRTV, of course, at CRN Sports, at Fox Sports Radio, at iHeartRadio, but of course, hashtag Finish Line. And Charles, if you don't have me a new stage set for next week, I'm coming to Texas. Okay? We're going to do the show from Texas because there's going to be charges.
That's fine. We're picking a Whataburger right before the show, though.
That's right. Kick your ass and then we eat Whataburger later. Sunday. Hey, but Charles, seriously, in closing, before we get out of here, man, would you put Preston Peltier in the late model invitational?
Shoot, yeah. We're having this race this Saturday because we couldn't agree on the last 10 spots. I think everybody will agree and vote in an actual real racer. So if he wants in, yeah, put him in there.
There you go. Well, of course, he says he hasn't ran in a year, but hopefully, I will get you his information. For now, cue up our music and let's get the heck out of here. Man, it's been a great one. We've enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us on the program here today for Finish Line. We're getting off a little bit earlier than usual because I have high school broadcasting obligations and college men's basketball broadcast to do for television and radio coming up at 5 o'clock and at 8 p.m. Eastern. So for that reason, Finish Line is a little bit quicker on ending than usual. But hey, great guest panel. It flew by like it always does. Thanks for you, the race fans. Thanks for you, the new fans, for joining us. And of course, as always, congratulations to all of our guests being on the program, including Speedfest, Adam Mackey, Track Enterprises, giving you the information on behalf of Ben Sumner at Georgia. Also, thanks to Dale McDowell. Man, he won that big race at Volusia. Really doesn't know what his plans are for the season on some aspects, but to fight cancer, beat cancer's ass, and get back in the race car doing what he loves, just phenomenal for the Mac Daddy from Chickamauga, Georgia. Thanks also to Winston-Salem's Danny Bone, Young's Motorsports in the North American Motor Car entry. See him at Daytona in the Nextera Energies 250 for the trucks on Friday night. And then, of course, Preston Peltier. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, Rocket Media, LSRTV, Fox Sports Radio affiliates in the Carolinas, iHeartRadio, and the Community Radio Network. In the road to life, there is always a finish line. Make yours a safe, traveling, prosperous, successful one. I'm Wesley Outland. Thanks for tuning in, watching, listening. We'll do Finish Line again next Wednesday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, now midday, until further notice. Be good to one another. Go out and support racing. And thank you for watching and listening.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.